What's that saying? A closed mouth never gets fed. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 life lessons that I learned being an adult actor for 5 years. So let's hop right into it. First, I gotta give a shout out to my very much appreciated Patreon members. Thank you guys so much for your support over there on Patreon, especially my VIP Candle Collective members. Thank you guys so much. I do have a couple of different tiers on my Patreon, and it's a great way to get to know me on a deeper level, so check it out if you're interested. In this video, I thought it would be interesting to share with you guys some lessons that I've learned now that it's been over a year since I've filmed my last adult scene. So, hopefully you guys are interested in this, but let's hop right into the first lesson. I also want to say that these lessons that I'm going to be sharing with you guys, I think that they are versatile. They go along with any kind of industry or any kind of career or phase of your life. I'm about to turn 25, so I have been learning a lot of these adult lessons recently, or what seems like recently, and I just want to share them with you guys. So let's hop into the first lesson. So the first lesson I learned is to never be ashamed of having personal boundaries. Personal boundaries, walls, restrictions, whatever you want to call it. Now, when I first joined the industry, I was very timid, I was very shy, I was very closed off, and kind of sad as well. But I had this intense insecurity, and I feel like part of that is what led me to apply to the studio and get into that industry, because there was this insecurity that I was trying to kind of get over and work myself through. I remember being told to stop getting in my head, because on my very first scene, there was 3 photographers in this bedroom. It was about the size of this room, maybe a little bit bigger, and I was just really uncomfortable. Nothing in the world prepares you for that. I didn't play sports in high school, so I wasn't used to being without clothes in front of a bunch of other people, let alone people I don't know or have never met before. So I remember it took half an hour, 45 minutes, and then one of the producers came over to me, and mind you, this was my very first ever solo scene, so I didn't have anybody else there. It was just kind of me enjoying myself. And I just could not do it. I don't know what it was. I was sweating, nervous, and just embarrassed. I kept asking to get up and go to the bathroom to have some privacy, because literally, guys, it was, imagine laying on that bed and having one photographer here, one photographer here, the producer over here, all of which are staring at you and waiting on you to get done with your business so they can move on with their day and whatever else they have to do, So there's a lot of pressure, and I was not prepared for that. But I do remember being told, I don't want to say threatened, but told in an aggressive way to get out of my head, because I was going to be sent home if I couldn't finish that scene. And after I was told that, it was like I shut my emotions down or disassociated, and that's kind of what helped me get through 5 years of being in the industry. I was able to disassociate at will. I kind of just disconnected my emotions from my body and figured okay, this is what I do. This is my body. Let me just use my body, and then once I get done, I can kind of step back into my emotions. That's the best way I can explain it to you guys, but it has been over a year since I've been in that industry, and if you guys don't know, I do have webcam shows and I have an OF, but that's it. That's all I do now. All of it is creative and entertaining at the same time. I haven't totally left the adult entertainment industry. I just stopped working for the studios. I just wanted to throw that in there just to kind of clear up any confusion. A year after my last scene, I still am experiencing some effects of the disassociating from myself. I find myself kind of jumping into that even in my personal life. and it's not something that I'm wanting to do. It's just kind of a learned behavior or a habit that I've taught myself that I'm trying to kind of kick away. So I do think it's very important to have your personal boundaries because there's a reason they're there. And, it's very risky to cross those boundaries because there could be a rainbow and sunshine on the other side, or it could just be dark and gloomy and lead you down, or try to lead you down a dark and negative path. So that's the first lesson, guys. Don't ever be ashamed of having personal boundaries. Okay, so the next lesson that I have to share with you guys is that sexuality is truly on a spectrum. Truly, it's not black or white. It's not you're 100% this or you're 100% that. A lot of it has to do with experimentation, experience, what certain people have been throughout their lives that gives them this sort of curiosity or attraction to the same gender or the opposite gender. So I truly believe after spending 5 years and working with all different types of guys in the adult entertainment industry that sexuality is truly on a spectrum. So, in my early days of adult entertainment, I remember working with this one guy in particular that I was very attracted to. It was actually my first shoot week, and I don't want to give any more details because some of you are very good with kind of going in there and finding who I'm talking about, but I'm going to leave it there. I was really attracted to this guy, and I almost felt like I needed to keep that hidden because I figured, he already said he's straight. He's got a girlfriend at home. This is just work, this is just business. So I kept myself closed off, but he ended up approaching me and wanting to be buddy-buddy with me and wanting to hang out with me the whole time. And pretty much every day when everybody got done with their scenes and their work, we were together. And a lot of the times we were together alone, and we had a lot of the same thoughts. He had been in the industry for longer than I was, so I think this was maybe 2 years in for him, and he was just a little bit older than me. But we were just talking about our lives, and he was a country guy. I'm from a country town, so there were some things that we could relate to with each other, and I'm always going to remember him, but that moment stuck with me. And then I had a bunch of other moments after that. For example, probably 2 years after that happened, I was on another shoot with a guy who was honestly, guys, my dream guy. The type of guy that I would fantasize about, and I still fantasize about to this day. And I was very intimidated by him because he was just this very masculine, kind of overbearing personality type of guy. And again, he was the one that approached me and started asking about me and wanting to get to know me. And then one thing led to another. And on the first night, he wanted me to go down on him. And since I'm such a good boy and I follow the rules, I was like, okay, I'll do this, but I'm not going to go all the way there because I'm not trying to get kicked out of this shoot house. And I just got here, a day ago, or I think it was the same day that I got there that night that we were together. And then another model walked out of the room and almost caught us. So I'm like, okay. But then he ended up asking me to share his bedroom with him because since he was more of a senior model there, he had his own bedroom with I think it was a queen size bed, but all the other models had to live in this dorm room area, which was it just looked like barracks. It was just a large room with twin size beds lining the wall. So I was like, heck yeah, I'll share that room with you. Plus I'm pretty tall, so whatever I have to do to not sleep in a twin bed. Anyway, a lot of those moments, and that's not even all of them, those are just the first ones that popped up into my mind that made me realize that, sexuality is truly on a spectrum. I still keep in touch with that guy that I was just telling you guys about. The one who I met on the first night, who actually I believe has a kid now, has a wife, but he's super down to earth. It was never anything transactional. It was just kind of two dudes, exploring life, experimenting in our 20s. What's not to like? Actually, I don't even know if I think I was 20. Yeah, I think I was 20 because I remember the following year I was working on my 21st birthday at the same studio. So, one of the things I wanted to say with sexuality being on a spectrum is that there is such a thing as masculine beauty, feminine beauty, all different types of beauty. And I think as humans in general, when we see something that is beautiful or that we find attractive, no matter what it has in between its legs, I mean, there's nothing wrong with admiring an attractive person, whether it be a man, a woman, you like what you like. And sometimes you're attracted to things that you don't understand why you're attracted to them for. And I think I experienced a lot of that firsthand. I do know that beauty comes in all shapes and forms, and it's not so weird for a straight guy to be attracted to another man or a straight woman to be attracted to another woman. There's things that you can be attracted to without having to be like, okay, I want to go in bed with you right now, or I want to do this with you. Like, there's nothing wrong with appreciating a good body on a guy. It doesn't make you gay. It just makes you observant. All right. Well, let's move on to the next lesson, okay? Because I think it's time to move on. The next lesson is an important one, and that is to remember that your body is not a machine. You need rest. Yes, you need rest. It's nothing to take lightly. Not getting enough rest is so detrimental to your health on so many different levels. And I've experienced that firsthand, which is why I'm sharing this lesson with you guys. There was a point in time where I literally was living paycheck to paycheck. I didn't have anything saved. I was just kind of living off of what I had left after paying my rent and all the other bills that I had, which was not very much. But that led me to eat unhealthy foods, not live a healthy lifestyle. I was going out a lot, drinking all the time. But, I was in my early 20s, so I felt invincible until it started to catch up to me. And I would say probably around 23 is when it started to catch up to me, and I started to just feel like crap all the time and not really like my reflection in the mirror. So I made a change. I decided to leave the inner city where I was living, where everything is just so busy and there's always something going on. You're always invited to something, and you feel this pressure to stay involved in the scene, and to make your appearances here and there so people just don't forget about you. But I was also single, so I was trying to date. I was just doing all of it. And when you're not taking care of your body, you could be working out every day just like I was, but if you're not getting 7 hours of sleep, if you're not eating healthy foods and getting all the vitamins and minerals that your body needs to thrive, that does start to catch up to you. And it's not good when it does. Some people don't realize when their body is trying to tell them something. Thankfully, I did, because I was so just unhappy and just not where I am now. Definitely nowhere near where I am now, mentally, physically, just on every facet of my life. So when you get that inner voice that is trying to tell you certain things, like, hey, maybe it's time to stay home tonight. You've gone out a little bit too much this week, or maybe it's better if you stay in and cook yourself dinner rather than ordering out. Just little stuff like that. Yeah, it's not always fun. It's not always the easiest route to take, but when you start to listen to that voice, it starts to lead you in different directions. So, another thing I like to tell people who ask me for advice is keep your vibration high. Keep your vibration high. And when I say that, I mean push yourself to do the thing that you don't want to do, but you know you need to do. So, for example, this morning I woke up. I was a little bit groggy. I don't know why. Some mornings are like that. But the first thing I do when I wake up is take a shower to wake my body up even more. And in the shower this morning, I was like, I really just want to sit down on the shower floor and just let the water hit me. But I know if I do that, it's just going to make me more tired and lazy. So instead, I pushed through it. I turned the water temperature down a little colder just to give me more of a shock, more of that, all right, that zingy feeling. And I pushed through it and did my shower. And I got out of there feeling just totally awake and ready to conquer my day. So that might not be the best example, but I think you guys probably understand where I'm coming from. Quality rest is also important for a clear mind and clear decision making. I look back in my past, even just 3 years ago, and I'm like, why did I do that? Why did I agree to go there? Why did I agree to go to that? Because I realized I was so desperate for like a good time, and I didn't care about, what I was going to have for dinner, or if I was going to be up early enough to make myself a fulfilling breakfast. I didn't care about any of that back then because I was just searching for a good time. And I had a lot of good times, but, I fell on my behind a bunch too. And finally, I picked myself up and I was like, okay, I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to make some changes. But definitely, guys, treat your bodies like temples. Get plenty of rest, eat good food, be nice to yourself. All of the negative self-talk, that really gets to you after a while as well. So when you're looking at yourself in the mirror or when you're driving alone and you're just not having a good day and you really just want to say, F the world, don't do it. Because what you say and what comes out of your mouth is literally like casting a spell. And this is something that I've realized as well growing up in the last couple of years. You have to really be careful what comes out of your mouth because you never know what is really going to come true. You never know when it's going to come true. You never know if you're speaking something into existence or just being sarcastic. So just get rid of the negative self-talk. Live a healthy life. Take care of your body. You are not a machine. Okay. Level-headed decision-making is so important to being a productive and successful adult. You need your rest. You need that fuel inside of you to keep you going. So let's move on to the next lesson. Okay, I think this is kind of cliche, but looks fade, personalities last forever. It's true. It is true. Some people might disagree with me when I say that, and hold on, guys, my camera's about to die. Of course. Now, I know some of you are probably going to disagree with me on that, being that personalities can change and people can change how they act and how they view the world. But in my personal experience, you always kind of notice and pick up on certain traits that people have when you first meet them. And a lot of the times they continue to have those traits later in life. So if someone, for example, doesn't really keep their car clean, since high school, you've noticed their car's always a mess. They don't really care about how it looks. They just kind of use it as a get-around mobile. And that lasts later on in life. I have a family member who, I don't want to say the H word, hoarder, but she is a collector of things that don't really have much value to anyone but her. And it gets to be this cycle where it gets to this point where you can't even walk into this person's room because it's just so covered in clothes. And, that's happened since my childhood. So I've noticed little things like that with people where, yeah, they look different 5 years later, 10 years later, but they still tend to have a lot of the same attributes, whether it be negative attributes or positive attributes. But a lot of the guys that I worked with had very positive attributes that I could relate to. And most of those guys are the guys that I, communicated with and kind of bonded with. When you start treating your body like a machine, not taking care of yourself, those looks fade even faster. But looks fade, personalities, they remain. Sometimes people pick up new attributes and new habits and behaviors, but rarely do you see someone changing so much their personality to the point where you don't really recognize them in that sense. People grow, they mature, they have different interests, different things that they are into, and different people that they surround themselves by, which is why we grow away from certain friends. But at the same time, they still have that solid foundation of a personality that they had from day one. Okay, so let's move on to the final lesson that I want to share with you guys. So the final lesson is that confidence is key in life. And when I say key, I mean ideal. The most ideal life is to be confident and proud of who you are, successful, and just happy. But one thing I've noticed is that people with confidence get way more respect than people that don't have confidence. So if you walk up to a Starbucks line and you say, "Hello, good morning, can I get this, this, and this?" That person is most likely going to be treated better than a person who shows up to the front of the counter and is like, we've all seen it. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to deal with someone that you have to kind of pull information out of, especially in a situation like Starbucks. But that was just an example. Confidence makes people treat you in a different way than if you didn't have confidence. When you treat yourself seriously and you look at yourself and you're happy in the mirror and you're happy with the image that you project into the world, people can see that. Like, you start radiating energy and it attracts a lot of people in. But what it also does is attract a lot of haters, a lot of people who really just want to dim that light that you've worked so hard to brighten and to project into the world. There's so many people out there that don't have confidence and don't have happiness, that really just want to just dim you, like throw a cloak over you and just get you out of here, because when they see someone who is confident in the person that they are, it makes them look at themselves and ask themselves, why am I not confident? So I definitely think confidence is key, and people who are more confident get treated better and live better lives than people who aren't more confident, and people who are more insecure and always worrying about the next guy or always worrying about what people are thinking about them. I have not always been confident. Having confidence can benefit so many different levels of your life, you guys. When it comes to negotiating your value or your pay, I've done that, and that's something I've experienced firsthand. This was towards the end of my studio career, but I remember this particular studio who I'd never worked with before wanted to pay me down here. And I'm like, I didn't even know that before I got there, because I had an agent at the time. There was a miscommunication, but I got there and then they were like, "Oh yeah, this is what we're going to pay you. And I'm like, I didn't even let him finish saying what he was saying. I was like, I'm not staying here for that. I'll call so-and-so and go back home. I'm not even worried about it." And he's like, "Oh, calm down," as if I was like causing a scene. No, they're just not used to having confident models in there, especially models with agents that they have to pay. So I was like, I'm not going to do it for that, but I'll do it for this. And when I told them that, that's all they needed to hear. They just wanted me there. If I wasn't worth it, they would have told me to go back home. But you'll never know if you don't try. What's that saying? A closed mouth never gets fed. It's so true. So having a strong sense of confidence is important, and it's something that we should all work on and perfect. So those were 5 things I learned after spending 5 years in the adult entertainment industry. What a tongue twister that is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what your favorite lesson was, because I'd love to talk about it more down in the comments. If anything stuck out to you, if you disagreed with anything, let me know, because I like the conversation. We can all learn a little bit more from each other just by conversation. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I also want to say that I am doing free shipping on orders over $50 on my website, westnovelties.com. And if you didn't know, I did launch my spring candle collection April 1st. It's still available up on my website. Here is the most popular candle. Everyone loves Canyon Trail. Everyone. It's literally the heart of Arizona. If you think of Arizona, this is what it smells like hiking through the canyons, hiking through the Grand Canyon, hiking, I mean, anywhere around here. It's so natural, it's so earthy, and it just gives off this essence that I've never smelled from any other candle. So check it out, guys. I also have wax melts, jewelry, other scents from my previous collections. Check it out. And let me know what you guys thought about this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you're new here, subscribe. If not, that's cool too. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.